Hi guys, in this video I'll be covering everything you need to know so far about Chrono Odyssey in one complete video. Everything that's known so far will be mentioned in this video in as much detail for as much as we could know from what the devs have shown us. Scheduled for release in the fourth quarter of 2025 according to Kakao's earnings call, with a closed beta test already planned for June. Now let's dive into everything you need to know about Chrono Odyssey, from classes and combat to upgrading your equipment and its stats. By the way, if you're interested in MMORPGs or specifically Chrono Odyssey, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay updated. I try to make full, in-detail informational videos about the games I cover on here. Now let's get into it. First of all, classes and weapons. Chrono Odyssey features 6 classes, each capable of wielding 3 unique weapons. The Berserker uses chain blades, twin axes, and a battle axe. The Assassin uses a saber, wrist blades, and a musket. The Swordsman uses a sword and shield, greatsword, and dual swords. The Paladin uses a shield and mace, lance, and a spear. The Sorcerer uses a book, staff, and some sort of orb or catalyst. The Ranger uses a crossbow, bow, and a close combat rapier. The Swordsman, Ranger, and Berserker will be available in the closed beta, while the Paladin, Assassin, and Sorcerer won't be yet. Now to explain a little about the world and story of the game. Set in the world of Cetera, Chrono Odyssey presents a universe where past and future collide. Humanity, gods, and a mysterious entity known as the Void are locked in conflict, destabilizing dimensions and plunging the world into chaos. You'll navigate through this narrative by traveling between different eras, shaping the fate of Cetera. The game embraces cosmic horror and space-time manipulation, primarily through a mechanic known as the Chronotector. With this system, players can reveal hidden structures, missions, and events, making discovery a key part of gameplay. The world this game is set in reminds me a bit of Destiny, to be honest, but with his own distinct spin to it. Now let's talk about the juicy part, core content that the devs have showed us. Chrono Odyssey's content is diverse and designed to encourage exploration and engagement. Firstly, you have Chrono Gates. These are solo PvE 1v1 battles against powerful Void Apostles, requiring skillful play and mechanics. Players memorize enemy moves and master intricate mechanics to complete this content. Chrono Gates 1 through 4 were shown publicly, who knows if there are more. Secondly, Trials. These are like puzzle and trap-based solo experience that test creativity and decision-making with randomized mechanics to ensure varied gameplay. Thirdly, we have Expedition Dungeons, designed for 3-player parties. These emphasize cooperation over traditional large-scale raids, assigning unique roles to each player for an intimate co-op experience. Fourth are Region Bosses, open-world battles involving multiple parties of 5, offering unique equipment tied deeply into the game's lore. This content not only provides gear upgrades, but also narratively enriches the player's understanding of the world. For the fifth one, we got Labyrinths, completely combat-free puzzles and exploration content, rewarding players upon initial completion and continually revealing new secrets after. Sixth one are Time Portals, allows players to travel back in time, gathering rare materials and items specific to that visited era, while uncovering lore integral to the game's overarching narrative. Seventh and last one is Bounty Hunting. Players track specific monsters using the Chronotector that I told you about earlier, uncovering hidden areas and secrets naturally through their hunt, further immersing them in the world story and contributing to the peace of troubled regions. I'm guessing something similar to Throne and Liberty's contracts. Now about life skills and crafting. Chrono Odyssey places significant emphasis on life skills, which include mining, logging, gathering, butchery. Every action from crafting to gathering provides both character XP and life skill mastery XP, allowing players to reach the game's max level just through non-combat activities alone. This encourages a more varied and personalized gameplay experience, which the devs are trying to go for. The life skill tabs that were shown were the Tool tab, which has a sickle, pickaxe, logging axe, butcher knife, fishing pole, and campfire. The Resource tab, which had oils and grits. The Mining tab, which has ingots for crafting heavy equipment or crafting materials for other equipment. A Logging tab, Gathering tab, and a Butchery tab. Additionally, a system exists for non-combat players to share and trade information with combat-preferred players for mutual benefit. There isn't much information about that yet. So now about one of the most important parts of an MMO, combat mechanics. Combat is dynamic, built around a very critical weapon swap system that lets you equip 2 weapons simultaneously. They deliberately make you encounter an elite boss in the early stage of the game to make you realize the importance of this weapon swap system, because you'll be struggling due to skill cooldowns if you don't. So it seems like you need 2 weapons equipped. Having just one weapon will put you in a disadvantage. The system promises to be easy to learn, yet difficult to master according to the devs, offering depth through skill chaining, passive weapon buffs, and active mechanics like parrying and dodging. I'm personally very curious on how difficult and deep this combat really is, What personally turned me off, for example, in Throne and Liberty was the lack of depth in combat. In my opinion, there needs to be a good amount of depth in CCs, CC breakers, resist skills for it to be truly a good combat, in my opinion. Chrono Odyssey moves away from stat-driven outcomes to reward players' skill and creativity in combat. They didn't want the combat to be focused on skill and stat numbers and interface information. They want to emphasize creating your own attack patterns and techniques to make the combat feel more fun and engaging, perhaps similar to a Dark Souls type of game. They are also limiting the amount of skills you have, so rather than like having 20 skills, it's probably limited to like 5 situational skills that you need to use in different moments. I really hope the depth part is true. No one likes stealth combat, maybe except for mobile gamers, I don't know. Now about their PvP approach. Rather than traditional large-scale PvP battles or arena-style PvP, Chrono Odyssey features a PvEVP system integrating both PvP and PvE elements. I really hope for this that the developers aim to create a high stakes engagements for this, reminiscent of memorable PvEVP events seen in titles like Throne of Liberty at launch in the Korea server before they nerfed rewards for hostile events. I think it's tough to make PvX events enjoyable most of the times, so I do hope that some high stakes are involved to make it much more exciting and for the competitiveness of it. Since the game is more focused on small party content rather than big guild content, I don't think you'll see a handful of guilds trying to monopolize these events like you would have in the early PvX event days of TL. Regarding the arena-style PvP, I personally like having conventional PvP content, especially arena-style PvP, if it's well done. Coming from a Blade and Soul arena enjoyer, which has like the best arena. But the devs have said to kind of move away from conventional PvP content as we know it. Now to get into gear and equipment for Chrono Odyssey. Equipment customization in Chrono Odyssey goes as following. Gear slots including head, chest, hands, legs, feet, and back. Your gear will have 3 main base stats. Other than that, there are also RNG based enhancements, which are the following. Jewel sockets, enhancing specific skills. These jewels, when equipped, seem to level up a specific skill by X amount of level, depending on what jewel you have equipped. Then you have prefixes, providing dual or single powerful stat boosts. You have a random chance on a prefix title that gives stats like wisdom or dexterity, as shown in the video, and others like strength and intellect as well. For example, the prefix Wise Warriors gives high strength stat with some wisdom next to it. Strong Schoolers gives high intellect stat with some strength. Those are prefixes with 2 stats. You are also able to roll just one prefix with an even higher stat, like just getting a Schooler title prefix will get you a very high intellect stat. Other than that, you have a chance for 3 general attributes offering percentage-based bonuses to specialized stats. For example, damage over time attack boosts, percentage boss damage boosts, percentage PvP damage boosts, percentage PvP damage reduction, or percentage crit reduction, etc. There are a couple more. Gear has an equipment score which can be upgraded 15 times, for example from 40 to 55. Upgrading this gear gets you the following 3 things. Non-percentage base stats increase, prefix stat increase, general attributes stats increase. Those are the 3 things you will get when upgrading your gear. They are trying to reduce or minimize the burden of enhancement failure, so if you fail in one way, they try to provide you another way of upgrading to get stronger. Crafting is central to gearing, heavily intertwined with the exploration and combat content. It has been mentioned that for those who prefer non-combat enhancements, you can still reach the highest level purely through crafting and gathering, like I told you earlier. Now about the overall game design and progression the devs are trying to go for. Chrono Odyssey actively moves away from MMORPG stereotypes, such as the holy trinity of tank, healer, and DPS roles. Instead, classes adopt a hybrid approach, allowing solo viability for all class types. Progression emphasizes on exploration and discovery rather than linear questing, minimizing in-game guidance to foster genuine curiosity. Party sizes start small, accommodating solo or duo play, scaling up to a maximum of 5 players for endgame content. They also said to give a load screen free exploration. Now the roadmap and future of Chrono Odyssey. In the upcoming closed beta in June, the devs are trying to refine the multiplayer experience and set the foundation for future expansion. Post-launch, the developers plan regular updates, introducing new stories, regions, classes, and player-driven narrative development. They encourage beta players specifically to engage with the game through exploration rather than linear questing. So for the conclusion, Chrono Odyssey seems quite cool from what I'm seeing and hearing. I'm planning to follow the title very closely, so make sure to subscribe for the most detailed and in-depth videos on MMORPGs like Chrono Odyssey. I hope to cover Ion 2 as well when we have more information about that. Thanks for watching, see you on the next one. Bye bye!